Congratulations, man. This is a huge deal for San Diego. 10 years, $300 million. How did we get here?
Yeah, a lot of hard work by a lot of people. I mean, obviously, it's a long process, as we're starting spring training here right now. And, I think, like we talked about at the press conference, I think part of it was, being able to build up the farm system to the point that we feel like we have a lot of talent that, probably have some players in the next years from a payroll standpoint. Can help fill out our roster and put us in a position financially to have competed for somebody like Manny. But just a lot of support from ownership, a lot of support from from the staff, and just feeling like perfect player, right player at the right time, and he fit in obviously in all kinds of ways.
Now, I would assume when you're dealing with this type of money, there are a whole lot of people involved besides yourself. Talk a little bit about how you kind of have to go through different channels when you're dealing with a free agent like Manny Machado and wanting to bring him into your organization.
Yeah, I think obviously, internally, as we talked about, I mean, it's a group decision, a team decision. I think, Eric Grubner on the business side, Wayne Partel on the marketing side, but Ron Peter, and ultimately, in a sense, a baseball decision. You want to get somebody that's going to go out there and help you win championships. And, there's a lot of competition from the industry when you're talking about a player. Again, you don't have to be a baseball genius to see how talented Manny Machado is, and overall, just had a lot of support from Ron, from Peter. Their vision, their passion, what they wanted to do. And I think again, you're talking about a 26-year-old free agent that's at the top part of the game.
It's rare.
It doesn't happen every single year, and just try to continue to explain that to the group. And as we looked at it and studied it, we just kept feeling that this was an opportunity we couldn't pass up.
Now, 2020 has been the topic of conversation for the last 3 years about when the Padres would be able to compete. I would assume this moves the timeline up a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think we're obviously want to be realistic, but I think we've talked about it a lot as a group. I think internally there's never a period of time with Andy or myself where we say, hey, 2019 is a year that's still a development year, and it's not going to happen until this magical point where all these pieces come together. I think it's just about adding a lot of talented guys together that are made in the right way, and then letting them gel as a group and taking off from there. So hopefully that starts our rise up the standings here this year. Obviously, feel like Manny's going to be a part of it, but I think this decision is definitely made with 2019 in mind, but more so made looking at the next 10 years with what's coming and looking at the combination of that.
Now, there was a whole scuttle made out of the Charlie Hustle comments. In my opinion, I thought it was blown out of proportion. Is that something that you had to even have a conversation with Manny about going into a negotiation? Yeah,
I was able to spend some time with him here over the last few weeks and spend probably about 4 or 5 hours with him there in Miami with him and his wife. And a lot of the conversation was just trying to talk about what's important to him, what makes him tick as a player, talking about our organization, getting a sense for him from a background standpoint. But we definitely addressed it and talked about October. And I think the biggest thing with Manny that he talked about was he learned from it. I think overall, and I think as an organization, we've talked about it. Good players, staff. You make mistakes. Nobody's perfect in general, and I think we want to be an organization that understands that and supports our players and the staff members in those times. Obviously there's right and wrong, and we understand that. But from Manny's standpoint, he was open, saying, "Hey, I learned some things from the off season, from the postseason, and I think it's going to make him a better player here going forward."
Now, I think the remaining question is, and you got a little bit of it in the press conference. Bryce Harper's out there. There's clearly been a lot of rumors going around that the Padres are still in on this. Fake news, no news, or real news?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think we'll talk about when you have elite players that are that are on the market at young ages, that's just not that's not something that usually that doesn't happen every single year. So I think we're open to different possibilities. I do like the group that's in there. I like the outfield group that we have in our camp right now. We feel like we have real major league outfielders, and I think that's the exciting part for us. I think the third base group that we put together, Manny fills a real need for us, obviously, and I think we'll see how the next few weeks play out. But I think honestly, I think it's excited about a lot of the guys we have there in the complex.
One last question before I let you get out of here: if everything stands pat as it is right now, you're going to have a really, really young pitching staff. Are you guys? Is this organization willing to let those guys run out there and and see what you have?
Yeah, we've talked about it over the last few years, really, and I think even this offseason that we've had, traded Clayton Richard, and had the opportunity maybe to bring in, somebody that might slot into the back part of the rotation. And I think as a group we've decided, let's see what the young guys can do. Let's see what the young pitchers can do. There's only one really, these guys have had a lot of success in the minor leagues. They've got to get out there at the highest level and learn from it and grow. So, again, I think we understand we've put ourselves in position. Maybe if there's a move for a pitcher that slots in above that group, but feel good about the guys that are that are over there and want to see what they can do.
Well, AJ, once again, 2 years in a row, you bring in the top prize of free agency. Job well done, and congratulations again.
Appreciate it, Tony. Thank you.